Welcome to this week's Endurance for Everyone podcast.
The following program is for entertainment purposes only. Though the hosts of this show are certified Ironman coaches, their attempts at long-course triathlons and endurance events should not be taken as an endorsement for you to do something stupid too. You should make your own bad decisions, then podcast about it. Now, let's start the show. Ready to start your journey? Whether it's your first workout or you are a seasoned athlete, Endurance for Everyone Coaching wants to work with you. Our coaching team has worked with athletes from beginners to USAT national qualifiers and are comprised of experienced runners, cyclists, and triathletes who have a passion for healthy living and have been where you are. We offer comprehensive coaching programs from weekly support to basic consultation, all designed to help you achieve your goals. If you want to take your performance to the next level, look no further than Endurance for Everyone Coaching. Go to www.teamE4E.com and click on the coaching link or send an email to teamE4E@enduranceforeveryone.com. And let's get started.
All right, episode 173 of Endurance for Everyone podcast is back on the air, and I'm not alone tonight, so you don't get to listen to my wonderful voice by itself. I have over... Are you guys in the same area, Megan?
We used to be,
Yeah.
Until I moved to New Hampshire.
Okay. So, as you just heard, we have Megan Fanning, a constant influence on the show, whether she knows it or not.
You can't get rid of me.
You can't get rid of you. It's like luggage.
Or herpes.
I was going to say herpes. I was going to say that. I said, no, John, don't go there. So
No,
Sean
that's
goes there.
That's what we got Sean for.
So as you heard, on the other side is Sean Meehan. So he can now he's introduced himself well. It's that sense of humor that only we have, you know.
Yeah, well, when relationship is like made during endurance and in the woods and during misery, its reality is
Exactly.
all I think.
Exactly right. And I have to keep checking myself now that I'm not around triathletes and that all the time, that something will just come out of my mouth at work sometimes. And I said, what was I talking about today in some meeting? I said, and those damn units they keep putting up there. And I said, oops. And just like Paul, just, a former another Navy vet just looked at me and kind of giggled, as Navy vets are known to do. We giggle a lot. So
Sean, you giggle, I think.
I giggle all the time.
Yeah, is that a Navy thing? What's up with that?
Well, we tickle each other a lot.
See, I didn't know you were Navy.
Yeah.
Really?
8 years, Navy nuke. Yep.
Really? Nuke sub or nuke carrier?
I needed to see the daylight, my friend.
Yeah. See, you remember Randy used to be on the show. He was a sub. I said, how the hell
Yeah.
did you
It's
do
a tough
that?
life.
I went in at one time right after boot camp. I said, there's no way in hell I'm getting on that damn sub. I'd be killing somebody, probably myself. I don't understand it. So you were in 8 years, huh?
Yep.
I had no idea. I was in 10 myself.
Nice.
So
What'd you do?
I was an operations specialist,
Okay.
air intercept control sub rating. So, but I was on the battleship Iowa, and a couple of destroyers during Desert Storm.
I was going to say, dating yourself there with a battleship.
Well, yes. If you want to know a good story of that battleship, Google it. So I won't get into it online on here, but yeah, April of 1989, in fact.
All right, now I want to Google it.
Now you want to Google it. I will tell you what happened. See, you guys are old enough, you should know this. Explosion, the gun turret exploded, killed 47 people.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, so that was my ship.
That was you on it when it happened?
Well, yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah, look at
John's
that.
fault.
it was, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, they have video of it.
There's actually a movie out there called Glimpse of Hell with James Caan. Yeah, that was
Okay,
about that.
I won't watch this. I won't watch this while we're talking because it'll probably
Upset
probably
you.
like make explosion. Well, no, I mean, I think I'd be okay, but it'll make explosion sounds or something. I don't know how this
Yeah.
for your podcast.
Boom.
That's a way to start, you know?
Yeah, let's talk about something like uplifting.
Yeah.
So, so I mean, the reason I got both of you on is because everybody knows, because I talk about it all the time, that I have a race coming up in June, and I've kind of changed my way of training for this race, as I've kind of mentioned before on the show and to you in private. So I just kind of want to talk about that, about the race in general, about training in general, and training for anything type of endurance race like that. You're not doing the race this year, are you, Megan, or are you?
I am, but I just don't know what I'm doing. So right
Okay.
now, I can do everything pretty much but run. And to put it in perspective, I could run. It would be really bad if I did. The mobility in my ankles. So for those who don't know, I had an Achilles repair and a broken shard taken out of my ankle bone.
Yes.
So I'm still healing from that, and really just doing a lot of work to, restore that mobility, strength work and physical therapy. And
Are you doing any
also-
pool running?
no,
Because
you know
that's
why?
what you told me to do.
Yeah, I would. Honestly, I would. The problem I have though is you got to remember I live in the boonies.
That's true.
So
Forget
the
that.
nearest pool is at least 40 minutes away. And, if I were to jump back into triathlons or something, that's fine. I would just, suck it up and make the drive. But just with work and everything that I'm doing, it's pretty hard to justify that amount of time right now. So, so I'll work on the mobility, and I'll be there, supporting all of you guys. And, I'll run one race or, crew or pace. But
You're going to go with me in the dark so I don't get scared.
yeah, I want to be there when you hallucinate.
I'm going to do it just, I'm going to make it up.
Well, that's the race.
You don't have to.
Really?
Yeah, no, you were. And Sean, I think you were with me when I was seeing John Lennon and I had that argument with John Lennon.
I don't think I was. I think that was on
okay.
Solo Loop that you were out by yourself.
Yeah, because John Lennon was following me, and what he would do is he'd run ahead of me and he'd jump on a rock and kind of squat almost like a gargoyle and wrap his arms around his knees and then just watch me run by.
That sounds very
And he
much
kept
like
doing it. Yeah, and I was like, finally, I'd say hey to him and everything, and he wouldn't talk back. And I got really mad. I was like, what is your problem? Why are you following me? And if you have something to say to me, say go ahead. And he just sat there and looked at me.
Yeah.
And he followed me.
And he followed you.
He did.
And you don't, and you know for sure that it wasn't him.
No, it was him. He was out there, I tell you.
I think so.
He serenaded her in the woods by himself.
No, he didn't. That's the thing. He didn't talk. That's why I was so mad. I was like, what do you have to say? Why are you following me? You're just watching me?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to show up, say something wise.
Exactly. Yeah.
Singing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Yeah.
I don't know.
say
That's what I
something.
felt like.
Exactly.
All right. So I opened your Training Peaks, and
No.
Sean has access to that too. Just
To
because
mine?
well, he has access to my page.
Oh.
So Sean can sign in under me. So
Oh.
this is so we know what we're talking about.
I didn't know that.
Hey, how was Whispering Pines this year? I love that race. I'm looking at your Whispering Pines data right now.
Yeah.
Is that the one you got lost at, Megan?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's the one where the bat hit me in the neck. The literal bat, not a bat like a baseball bat. The bat flew into my neck. I was like, what the hell? Yes, I got totally lost.
And it was a real bat. It wasn't like a John Lennon bat.
No, that was actually for real. And I also that
The
Whispering
glowing
Pines.
spiders.
So these are all the stupid stories I have. Whispering Pines, freaking Florida. I'm running and there's a cat on the trail. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, am I hallucinating? Because, I've been here before. And then I saw a couple people walk out and I was like, did you just see that cat? And they looked at me like I was so stupid. And they're like, yeah, that's our cat. And I was like, well, he's up there. And they're like, yeah, we take him for a walk with us.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
that's very Florida.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
only in Florida do we take our cats for walks.
But he wasn't like on a leash or anything. And he wasn't within sight of these two people. I thought I was losing my mind. It's just a cat. So anyway, I'm looking at your Whispering Pines data. So you got 10 miles completed, 977?
Oh, no, I got more. I got 20.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You might have 2 entries.
Yeah, I think there's more.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And I think I missed one. I think there's like a 10, a 5, and then I missed one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My watch died or something.
5 then.
Yeah. Yeah, because what happens is like, if you stop too long, your watch stops.
Okay.
So I did the 10 almost like right, back to back. I think I stopped 10 minutes. And then I did stop a lot after the 10-minute one, and my watch stopped on me.
Yeah, okay.
And I didn't realize it was stopping. So, I signed up for the 12-hour one, figuring I just want to go out there and just do as much as I could.
And how many hours total were you out there? Did you go the whole?
No, I didn't go the whole 12. Okay. I didn't really expect that I would.
How'd your feet feel?
Yeah, see, that's what I was going. It was better. It was back to the old pain. As you know, it's like before INFINITUS last 2 years ago, I actually had the injury, so I'm not having that issue anymore. So it's just the normal foot pain.
You're doing your trail runs in your Solomons?
Yes.
Okay.
And both pairs. I'm doing them in the XA Pro, which is the almost a boot looking one.
I was gonna say, are those heavy?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
But I like them because I feel like it's probably because of my weight, but I feel like my ankles are rolling all the time. And it's
a very secure shoe. So I have a Solomon. I have the Solomon XAs and I have the Gore-Tex version, and I use them for work when I go on like EMS calls in the snow, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I also use them when I'm snowshoeing. Those are because I won't wear hiking boots. So when I hike, but But anyway, they're firm enough so they're okay with snowshoes on over them too.
And I do have the other Solomons, which are the Speed Cross. I think they're called Speed Cross.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll use those. I have a trail race Saturday, just a 5K, and I'll use those in that one because it's a quick race. But relatively quick. Mine are all slow. But so you use Solomons too then?
For like snowshoeing, if I were doing anything in the snow, because the Gore-Tex just keeps my feet dry and warm. I can't wear them regular hiking just because they're just too much of a heavy shoe and there is so much support. I need I need like slippers on my feet when I run. I don't like a lot of support.
Opposite. Yeah, and I'm the opposite.
Yeah, so I can see why those are working for you, but just you don't want to wear the Gore-Tex version on a regular trail run because then you will get blisters and your feet won't dry out.
Yeah, water goes in and doesn't come out.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
That's why they work in the snow in the
Yeah.
But I would never wear them on a regular trail.
Okay. Well, do you wear the same ones, Sean?
No, I wear mostly New Balance, but I've had some foot issues, so I've been wearing the Hoka ATRs and wide right now, because I have a wide midfoot, which is weird. And I like that. It's the extra padding. It's like a 30 millimeter underfoot, which is a lot more than any other shoe, I think, for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I looked at those Hokas actually, and I used to wear those all the time, but I found that like just on like running, the regular road running, I've gone back to the Asics that I've always worn. And the good thing, to go back to the injury that I had, they put me in the orthotics and all that stuff. I don't even wear those orthotics anymore, and I'm fine.
Good. Yeah, good.
So, I kind of had to wean myself off of them because, as with everything, you get used to it. It's kind of like using fins in the pool, Yep. You get used to it after a while. So kind of weaned myself off of them, and I've been running without them. And What I will do though, and I did do this in Whistling Pines, so we were talking about that, is I did have them in my pack. And when I got to after 15 miles and my feet started aching, I did put them in, and it helped. I said, okay, this feels better now. So I didn't wear them the whole time, but go ahead.
What's going on with your feet?
I had before the last INFINITUS, they thought I had plantar fasciitis, and they all these doctors kept telling me I had plantar fasciitis. Then I finally go to this other doctor. He goes, "No, you don't have plantar fasciitis. You have nerve damage in the instep." And he did like a sonogram on it, and he showed it to me, and he gave me like a series of 3 injections into the foot. And it went away almost immediately. It was like after the first injection, it felt great.
Well, the pain went away.
Yeah.
The injury does not heal. Yeah.
Right. So he did that, and he said, well, we're going to get you some orthotics to kind of take the pressure off the way my foot was rolling.
Yep.
And as soon as they did that, I mean, honestly, after the first shot, because it did get rid of it, kind of numbed that nerve pain out. It felt immediately better. I went back for 2 more. Like every 2 weeks, I had to go back, and I think I got the last injection a week before INFINITUS. And so I went up there feeling pretty good, and I got up Romance Mountain. That's the right name, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got up at fine, and the weather was bad that year. It was awful.
Oh, the worst.
But when I was coming down is when I heard it again, because my foot was going all over the place. But it was like windy, raining. It was not. The next day was beautiful.
Oh my God, it was so cold. I mean, it was in the 30s that night, and my tent was not.
Well, you remember where I slept in my car.
See, I can't sleep in my car, but anyway,
Meghan, was your tent hitting you in the face?
Oh my God.
Because my tent during your race was hitting me in the face.
I know. I could hear you and Sarah. I was just laying in the RV laughing, going, "Oh my God!" Because I would listen to Sarah laugh every time a gust of wind came through.
Well, at least she laughs,
You have to. I think if you don't laugh at that stuff and you get really upset, it'll just kill you.
Well, right. And before you got there, I mean, I got there the day before you, and I told you people's tents were blowing down the mountain.
Yeah, that happened last year too. I mean, the winds were comparable.
Yeah. Oh, really? But just not the weather. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't as cold. Your year was really cold. I mean, the 30s.
And raining on top of it.
Yeah. But we did have rain. We did have the winds. We just didn't have it did get chilly, but not bad.
Yeah, you had pretty beautiful weather almost all week too.
Towards the end, the last, oh God,
you had a couple hot days,
2 or 3 days. Yeah, I had one day where I definitely had heat exhaustion. That was not fun.
So I'm wondering if we should tell everybody what INFINITUS is if they've never heard of this before. But do you want to say? Do you want to say what it is, or do you want me to do it?
Well, I'll go ahead. It's
been doing it so long.
Yeah. Well, Sean started doing it. You started doing it before me, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You did it a year before me.
So I've known Andy, who's the race director for INFINITUS, for quite a few years, because I started my my racing career in ultra distance doing the Spartan Death race, which he was a part of.
Gotcha.
And then he broke off and started the Endurance Society, and did INFINITUS, and I ran it the first year, and I've just kind of been involved in it in one way or another since then.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really nice guy too. I mean, I've never had a race director like that answer emails as fast as he does.
Yeah, he's good.
Answers all stupid questions I had, even now.
Yeah, and so there's this year, there's an 888 kilometers. They do have an 888 relay, so if somebody could do that. There's a 250 mile, a 100 mile, an 88 kilometer, a marathon, and an 8K, which is not really an 8K. It's actually 7.5 miles, I think.
Yeah, it's up and down Romance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they just say 8K because
they got to go with the 8 theme. And so I'm signed up this year for the 88K.
So the $1 million question, and take a breath before you answer this and really, really think about it. Well, you got to hear the question first. is why the 100? Why are you signed up for the 100 right now?
I'm signed up for the 88K.
Oh, okay. All right. Then let me rephrase that. Why are you signed up for the 88K? Like, why the 88K? What's the appeal? What do you want? What do you think?
But I looked at all of them, and I remember, the 100, and I kind of looked at it and said, I want to be successful at it,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I could do probably the 8K, and I could do the marathon one, but then I looked at it, but I want to have a little bit more of a challenge, I guess. So the next one up, and I said, 24 hours. And I started looking at the times. What did I do? Even though I sucked on the last one, my time was this. So could I do that and still make it? And the answer was yes, because I think for 24 hours, 88K, I think is 27-minute miles or something like that, which is about what I was at. Even as bad as it was.
Well, was that your running pace or your overall pace, including breaks at the end of the loop?
Yeah, even it was my overall pace. So if I figured at injured like I was and could manage that, then if I hit it healthy and uninjured, I should be able to do it. And I didn't want to do just I can't say just. I didn't want to do the marathon because, you can do a marathon anywhere. But I wanted to go a little bit further and kind of push myself a little bit. And I wanted to run at night. I wanted to see what it's like, even though it scares the hell out of me. It's really
not very scary if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
It's when you're out there and you become so familiar with the terrain.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's dark, but
it's not a fear of the dark. It's a fear because I don't know that area, so I'm always scared. Well, I'm going to go off 10 miles that way and they're going to find me in a van, somewhere.
That's how I felt in Florida with all the banana spiders and the bat hitting me in the neck.
But I get this image of if you watch Family Guy of Peter Griffin, when he was lost in the woods in his underwear and he went feral.
Okay. Your clothes on there, Zippy.
That'd be me.
I think running a race at night is way more comforting than running by yourself wherever you live at night, like in the woods.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a bunch of people tracking through there ahead of you and behind you. So there's a lot of comfort, I think, in that.
Yeah, and that was the other reason as well, Megan, is that I know that in that distance, there's going to be people all over the place. So I know that even if I did get lost or even if something did happen, someone's going to come by at some point.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So they won't find feral John out in the woods eating bugs.
In his underwear.
In his underwear.
What kind of bugs would you be eating?
Oh, I'm not picky.
Well, in Florida, it's the banana spiders, right?
Yeah. I'm not really picky.
During Whispering Pines, I saw all these little and I wasn't hallucinating. I have to preface
they do glow. They do glow.
Yeah, so all like a zillion little glowing things all over the ground. And in my mind, we have a lot of mica up here in the rocks. And I was thinking it was mica. And I was like, no, we're in Florida.
You're in Florida. There's no mica in Florida.
Yeah, and then afterwards, someone's like, "Oh, I hope you didn't sit down." And I was like, "Well, no." And they're like, "Oh yeah, those are baby banana spiders." I was like, "Oh, shit."
Well, that happened to Jennifer.
Yes,
she did sit down once when we were mountain biking and got bit.
Oh,
and it was bad.
Leave it to Doc Rambo.
I know, and it's like, and we didn't even realize it was a bite at first. This was like at least 5 years ago. But it tore her up. It was bad.
Yeah, there were zillions of them. I mean, the ground was moving.
Yeah.
With all this, anyway. So we digress. But bugs, yeah. So
that's how we roll in Florida. We have bugs.
Yeah.
We have cockroaches that fly.
Yeah, I was stationed in South Carolina. Palmetto bugs are the grossest things ever.
Yeah.
The entire streets of Charleston would just crawl.
Oh yeah, especially by the wharfs and stuff, out there by where the ships are.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah, bad area. Did you ever go to the Flying Dutchman in Charleston?
No.
Okay. Never mind.
Is it a strip club?
It's not a strip club. It's not a strip club.
Yeah, right.
No, it's actually, it was kind of cool. It was a club that,
Kind of be a good name for a strip club.
I know, the
actually.
Flying Dutchman. No, you walked in, and if you went to the left, it was a country bar, and if you went to the right, it was a rock bar. So it was kind of cool. So you could no matter what kind of music you liked, it was there, and you could switch sides and everything. But I remember that being in Charleston, but that was '83. That's probably when you were still a baby.
Yeah, I was 3.
Yeah, see, there you go. Thank you. Thanks for that. I didn't realize you were that young.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess yes. I'm just about 40. So.
Oh man, I remember 40.
That's good. That means you're not that old.
I'm not that old. I still remember 40. Yeah, I was a lot heavier back then, believe it or not. Oh, so where was I going with this?
Training.
Training.
We were talking about 88K while you were doing it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're looking at Training Peaks, you see what I've been doing, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm looking right now. Yeah.
Okay. You don't see a lot of running there, do you?
Right. I mean, you're definitely staying fit, and your swim times are getting faster. I did notice that.
Yes, and I've been riding a lot on just and here's my thinking now. Honestly, this weekend, I know it always says, well, this weekend I'm going to do this, but this weekend was my really starting point to start to run a lot more, just because daylight saving time. It's light at night, so there'll be more runs on there. But what I've been trying to do is, going back and looking at what I was doing back then, it was like all I was doing was running, and I just think that kind of just built up with the word my body said, okay, that's enough, So I'm trying to look at it a different way to say, well, if I stay fit, if I swim, if I bike, and I run, and not too much of any of them, then maybe the injury will stay away and I can still stay fit. I can still, keep my endurance up and hit it with a little bit. And what I have noticed, Megan, is that, like I said, I haven't run much, but when I've gone out to run, it feels better. It feels like I'm able to do it. I feel better when I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. You can see though that the weight's still there, and the weight's not going anywhere for some reason. I mean, 275 seems to be my set point. It will not go past it, no matter what I do.
Have you, with your infusions, blood work, anything? Have you gotten a recent panel of blood work done?
I'm going. I think in 3 weeks. I have a panel scheduled in 3 weeks.
Okay, I'm curious to see what those are. And the infusions
are. With me. They took me off. You remember I was on testosterone for a long time because it was so low, and they took me off it. They put me back on about 6-7 months ago.
Okay, you're still on it?
Yeah, so I'm back on it now. A much lower dose than I was before.
Okay, so we'll function for the time being like everything is status quo, and if something's different, then we'll go with that. So you're spending a lot more time on the bike and in the pool. It makes your body feel better. Yeah. Yeah,
it does, and I don't feel as beat up. I feel like I'm getting faster, as you said. I'm getting faster. Do you guys use Zwift? Either of you?
Well, I don't have a road bike right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I would use it, but when I got back on the bike, I started with a fat tire mountain bike. I had a really bad cycling crash, in case people don't know. I'm still sort of recovering from that, I think mentally, but I'm back on the fat tire. I would love to get a bike, because I'm riding so much at the gym. Yeah. I would love to get a bike and put it on Zwift, but I don't know. I was gonna actually go down to the bike store and just see what I was looking at for price and whatnot.
Now, do you use it, Sean? Have you?
I do not. I just sit and spin on a bike and have Megan yell at me that my cadence is too slow.
It is too slow.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I used Zwift like when it first started, and it was still a little buggy, and no smart trainers when it started. And I've been hearing all this stuff about using smart trainers on Zwift. So I finally got one, got a kicker snap, and hooked it up to Zwift, and that is like the best thing. And
Jen Coltrera has always had one. I think when I was working with her, she was on one.
Yeah, she bought a smart trainer when it first.
Yes.
She originally had not the Peloton, but the Tour de France.
Okay.
That thing. when it first came out. And now she's obviously on a higher end kicker now than mine. But yeah, she's been telling me about it. And the thing is that it's very addictive. It's almost like a video game. So, you're getting points, but I put it on. The first time I did it, I knew it was a smart trainer, and I knew that the program controlled the smart trainer. So when you're going to a climb, the tension does it on its own. So, but I, you know that in your head, but I didn't really realize what that was going to feel like until it happened. And so I'm there spinning around, blah, 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 and I look at the screen after, this is getting harder. And I look at the screen and I'm doing like 5 miles an hour. It's like, what the hell? And then it's just getting, and it got to the point that I could not even stand up to get the pedal to move. That's how, it was like a 16% incline. And it was like in a race that I had no business being in. So
people are zipping by you at 5 miles an hour uphill.
Well, that's what I was joking about. I did one yesterday called Liberty Circle, which is like through New York, but it's got like this super highway that you get on that's like see-through, so you're like above New York, and so you can look down and see it. So it's kind of cool. But it was like 20 minutes at a 15% incline. So it is like the hardest thing I ever did. And I got through it, but it's like, I was, and if you don't get the wattage up, if you don't keep the wattage, your avatar on the computer stops. It's like gets off the bike. So you're sitting there spinning, and he's like, you just sitting there, until you get enough watts build up that it starts moving again.
Oh, wow.
He's standing on the side of the bike, pushing it up the hill.
Yeah.
So I put it, I post everything, but I put out there is like, I'm nowhere near fit enough for this, but doing it, none of you see my apartment, but I have a very small apartment. So it's sitting in the middle of my living room, like just to the side of the TV. So you can still kind of see the TV around the bike now, but because it's sitting right there in front of me all the time, I get on the damn thing.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
it beats getting on a couch.
Right, exactly right. And Vinny Tortorich used to joke about that when he first moved out, that he didn't have any chairs. All he had was a bike on a trainer, so he had to sit on the bike.
That's why I have the working treadmill desk now. So you're biking. I'm flipping through as we're talking. So you're biking and you're swimming, and you're running your various races.
Yes.
Yeah. How much are you running a week, John?
Right now, maybe a day or two.
Okay.
But,
not really. You're just doing the events.
Right.
So,
I've been doing the events. Yeah.
Yes. It looks like, one event. So last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so Whispering Pines on the 17th, Trout Creek on the 10th.
Right. And that was that's the last one.
Well, you got a trail run in on the 20th. So it looks like I'd say, Yeah,
but like I said, that's going to start this weekend. I have a race Saturday. And what I'm going to do is what I've been doing with the Zwift rides with my coaching group is riding at 5 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then what I'm going to start doing is running at night on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then a longer run on the weekends. So I'll be getting 3 runs in.
You have 12 weeks till the event.
Yeah. And I think with the biking, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think with the biking, swimming, and the running, that my endurance will be there. I'm just trying not to get hurt. That's basically what I'm trying to do now. I think it kind of scared me last time. It scared me. It kind of made me gun shy now, that I'm scared to go out there and do. Well, I did Whispering Pines, the 20 miles, but so I know I can do 20 miles, but it scares me to go out and do a training run of that distance because now I'm scared I'm going to get hurt.
Well, have you done any? I'm going to call it aqua jogging, and Megan's going to scowl and make
deep water running.
Yeah, deep water running. It's the worst thing in the world, and probably the best thing for you.
Yeah, I haven't. That's why I was joking with Megan at the beginning. I said, "Did you go in the pool? Did you run in the pool?" Because she used to get on to me. That's what she wanted me to do all the time. I haven't done it this time. I have access to the pools. Well, I could,
And time on your feet is going to be an issue. You just need, you need to have time on your feet.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking on, like, for the longer runs, is like not even making them runs, because I don't run for the full time anyway, but going out for a few hours, 3-4 hours, and just getting out there for hours, and eventually trying to do Saturdays and Sundays, even if I swim first thing in the morning, because the Masters group is in the morning, and then go from there to a run, and go somewhere. But
yeah, I mean, part of the thing about time on your feet and the recovery is it allows your tendons and your ligaments to like adjust to the load of running and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that you're not going to get on a bike or swimming.
Right.
Sean and I were talking about this before, and I don't have the number on hand. You might have it, John. The elevation gain and loss for each loop. I have that somewhere. I could probably pull it up in my data if I dug through. So you need to figure what that is. You need to be doing hills, and you and I have done this. It's people from flat areas train for hills all the time, and there's a way to do it, even if you're running up just like a mound of dirt. I mean, and I'm exaggerating, but you need to get used to running up, and you need to get used to running down. And so treadmills are great too for, allowing people to be strong enough to run uphill, but you also have to get your body used to running down, because I think running down is often harder, because I can power hike up a hill.
Well, that's what I found in INFINITUS. I think that's the first time I really experienced that, because my foot was fine going up that hill, even though it was slow going and it was mud and everything like that. But when I started coming down is when I got hurt, because that was just brutal, and it tore me up. And that's what I've noticed is that I don't know if it's just because I think it hurts everybody, but throwing 275 pounds down a mountain, and trying to stop it with your legs is, not fun.
Have you run parking garages? I know.
I thought about that actually. I was downtown
at
the county
John,
center and thought about that.
You know Natalie Carpenter. You met her at Whispering Pines. I also coach her, and she's doing stadium climbs. That's how because she's training for Leadville. So every Sunday, she's doing a long run, and after the long run, I have her go over to the stadium, and she'll run 1 to 2 hours, and up and down the stadium. So if you have one of those near you too.
No, this is Florida. There's football stadiums.
Yep.
You just throw a stone, you hit a football stadium.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's near you. She's right near you, and she's training for Colorado.
Where is she?
Oh gosh, I thought. Oh, I don't remember. I thought she was right outside of Tampa.
Yeah, it could be. It seems to me I remember her saying that.
She works at a Fleet Feet, or no, it's not a Fleet Feet. It's a different running store. I'm sorry. I'm total. Yeah.
First, yeah.
So let's see.
There's a few of those around.
Okay, I think she's somewhere in the Tampa area. And sorry, Natalie, if I totally screw that up.
She doesn't listen to this.
But the stadium will work. And the other thing, to consider is, so you have 12 weeks. You get this time on your feet. The time that Sean was talking about. You need to get your muscles and ligaments and tendons and connective tissues, all that sort of good stuff, adapted to be able to do this. What's your nutrition like right now? That's not in Training Peaks.
And there's a reason for that. No, I'll let you on MyFitnessPal. Actually, my nutrition's been really good.
You know what? I think I have access to your MyFitnessPal. I think I probably still have your information in there. I
actually got quite a few people looking at MyFitnessPal, and I've been pretty on point with nutrition. That's why the weight is always a little frustrating. That I have my days that I think I was just talking to somebody the other day about this. And people have told me this before, that they don't think I eat enough. But I think I try to stay under 50 grams of carbs, and then the rest is protein and fat. But I don't think I get enough protein.
Well, we know what works for you.
Yeah.
And so, please correct me if I'm wrong. So what seemed to work for you in the past was going keto for about a month, because that's really
Right.
my belief is that the benefits of if you get benefits from going into ketosis, you lose them in about a month. That's my belief. Some people can debate, but let's just go with that. So
Okay.
you go keto for about a month, and then you're in the lower carbs. So under 50 grams. You're not in ketosis under 50 grams, correct?
No.
Okay.
No,
So you stay with that lower carb, protein and fat and all that good stuff. What's the difference between what worked and what you're doing now? That makes sense?
yeah, I'm trying to sit here and think about what's the real difference, and I don't think there is one, and that's the confusing part of it is I feel like I'm doing what I did before when I lost a lot of weight, and it's not coming off.
Go ahead.
Was
your workload higher? As in your biking,
yeah,
maybe
back
running?
back then it was a lot higher than I do now. Yeah, I mean back then when I got down to like 235 at my lowest, and yeah, I was biking. Like now, I'll do 30 minutes on the bike, but back then I was doing an hour, 2 hours every other day.
You know that exercise is a very poor way to lose
yeah,
weight.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
the
no,
longer
I mean,
you go,
it's the combination of diet and exercise, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
That was my point. Yeah. That was my point.
But I mean, you can't eat like garbage
right?
and
Yeah, it's that.
drop weight. But if your workload was higher and your diet is the same, right? Like,
Yeah,
Because I think that if you could drop a little bit of weight, you'd be able to run more because you'll be able to tolerate the the impact on your body.
I totally agree with that. I feel that I say it a lot too, that at my current fitness, if I weighed 50 pounds less, I'd be fine.
So when
current fitness,
when you went into ketosis in the past,
yeah,
I'm drawing on my memory, so please correct me if I'm wrong. We didn't have any bad effects. Hormones, stress level. I mean, it happens to a lot of women. It happens to some men, where it just causes too much stress on the body. But for you, it did not.
No,
correct?
I actually felt really good doing it, actually.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah.
So, and were you hungry?
No.
And did you feel restricted emotionally?
Not really. I mean, there were days that I wanted a pizza. I'm about to be honest with that.
I feel like that. I feel like that a lot, and I'm not Italian.
See, just saying the word pizza right now makes me want a pizza.
Me too. And I'm Irish.
Yeah. Get one of those Irish pizzas.
See how quickly we digress.
Has potatoes.
Potatoes on a pizza.
Made of potatoes and
pie. So what?
I have the answer for you, by the way. Hold on. The one you just asked. So I did just up and down Mount Romance, and that was 1,339 feet.
1,339.
So that's 8 miles. The first 8 miles of the race. Yeah.
And the second loop is about 3,200 feet of elevation gain and descent. Muslim is about 1,500 feet from the lowest point up to the peak.
So we're about roughly, and again, I could dig up the numbers in mine, but let's say 4,500.
4,500. I literally digging up the numbers from yours, Megan.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, good. Okay,
yeah,
so 4,500 for each 28 miles.
Yeah,
that you're doing. Yep. But what if you just went really hardcore on your nutrition for a month, just to get yourself kick-started? But then you'd have to increase the carbs because when you're doing that. I mean, well, people are going to debate me, but I would recommend increasing the carbs once you want to increase your mileage, because for you, and this is not for everybody, I'm just talking about John. For you, I worry about your hormones and your stress levels. So that's something to keep an eye on. And if you were to try to, I think, train for INFINITUS while in ketosis, that would not be good for your body.
Yeah,
in my humble opinion. But I think,
and you know what, that might have been part of the problems last time too.
But so 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So 4 weeks. But I think that if you can, if you can do that, I think the benefits would be worth it, because you'll just be able to, your feet can only take so much. That's why the cross training works so well for you,
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I know I keep saying what I weigh, but you put 275 pounds of bouncing on your feet and ankles for 2-3 hours, that's going to hurt.
Are you, the other thing, and I know you're going to hate me for saying this, and you hated it when I made you do this, but you need to be jump roping too. If you can't jump rope, you can't run. And the reason the impact on your ankles and your feet when you're jump roping are going to mimic when you start running. I cannot jump rope right now, so I am not running. I mean, well, here's the thing. Again, I physically could, but it causes a lot of pain, so I have to. So I'm drawing the line.
I think mostly what the jumping rope is that I look like an idiot.
So do it. So do it. Are you do it in your house? Are you on the top floor?
Yeah, but I can't. Yeah, I'm on the top floor, but there's like not room to throw a rope around like up in the air.
Who cares? Who cares what you look like?
I know.
I mean, we're kind of old
Meghan.
enough to be past that.
You get this. You'd get this stuff jiggling. It lasts hours. It can be jiggling for hours.
Get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and skip rope like a girl in front of your house. Just like trotting along there.
Put little bows in my hair.
Absolutely.
People won't talk to me. That'll be a plus.
That'd be nice.
People will leave me alone.
Yeah.
Instagram that.
Yes, please.
You know what? It's almost worth it to do that, just to Instagram it.
Yeah.
This is John out in front of his house with a little half shirt on.
Yeah, and you could start working those. Even if you jump, jumping rope for 5 minutes is a really long time. And if you don't believe me, jump rope straight for 5 minutes, and you'll feel like you're going to die. Yeah. But even if you got in like a minute or two. Before you got on the bike, after you got on the bike, before you swam, you could, again, start helping your body get into that adaptation phase. Like, okay, we're going to start running. This is what your ankles and your feet and your calves and your hips and in your back are going to have to endure.
All right, I'll dig out the jump rope. It's in my car, actually. So.
Not going to do you much good in there.
I know where it is.
But with the, and with the nutrition stuff, I'm always happy to help you. You'd probably have to just send me your sign-in information one more time. I know it's I got a new computer, so it's not going to auto-populate.
And I've been good about logging everything, but that's why people know I'm not eating enough. You get that little thing that, when you say end the day, and it says you're not taking in enough calories. You
and I have been through that. Yeah. And I know what your numbers are, and so I know why people would say that to you.
Yeah.
So for now, maybe you're not eating enough. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you are. Everybody's body's different. But the bottom line issue is, if you want to complete this 88 kilometers, this 55 miles, you're going to have to be able to put the time on your feet. And what are you going to have to do to put the time on your feet? You have to be able to, run, and you got to be able to do hills. You're going to have to be able to tire drag. You're going to have to be able to run down hills. And
well, it reminds me of, and I talked about this at work.
Stay healthy.
I talked about this. Yeah. Stay healthy. Have either of you guys read the book Atomic Habits yet?
No.
You probably.
I've seen.
I don't know you well enough, Sean, but I think Megan. I think she would like it.
I'll put it on my list.
Yeah, there's another one that actually a friend from Brent Larimer told me about when I talked about that book. There's one called. Now I'm looking at it, but How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, by Scott Adams, who wrote Dilbert. If you remember Dilbert.
Oh yeah.
And basically talking about the same thing, and it's talking about, and this is something we've heard in other instances, but it's the more I think about it, the more it really makes sense, is that goals, and the way he puts it, and I know, don't give me any blowback for it, Scott Adams says goals are for losers. Because if your goal, your whole life becomes about that goal, right? If your goal is to lose 20 pounds, so your whole life is about that goal. So when you lose 20 pounds, then what do you do now? You have that whole thing.
Well, Sean and I were just talking about that, and it does sound rather trite and cliche, but it is so true. The importance of the journey.
Yes, and that's what they get to. They call it the system. The system is more important than the goal. If you put the system in place, if your system is to, now James Clear, who wrote the Atomic Habits, says it, your habit is to make the bed. You make your bed every day. That's the habit you want to increase. But if you don't change your system to help you make that bed every day, you're going to make it the bed one day, you're going to feel good about it, you're not going to make it the next day. And because your system is more important. So when you look at it in business or in here, it's like, it's not about one of my clients, I won't say their name, but they got into New York, the New York Marathon. Okay. So they put their name in the lottery, got in. They have 3 marathons in 4 months. In a 4-month period.
Cool.
And of course, the first thing they text me and they messaged me and said, how do I train for 3 marathons in 4 months? And I said, you don't. You train for 1. That was my answer to it. It's like, if you do the system, if you do your plan, if you do your workouts, the race will take care of itself.
So how does that idea transfer over to you with what we were talking about? So Sean was talking about the importance of being on your feet, getting the mileage in. We were talking about the elevation. I was talking about the nutrition. So what does that mean for you in the next 12 weeks?
Right. And that's what I was talking to another person about, the eating. It's like, it's a matter of the system. The goal can't be, I'm going to eat this way every day. The system has to be, I'm going to cook all the meals. I'm going to have everything ready. I'm going to take take your lunch to work, take your snacks to work, things like that. Because where I start going off the rails as far as nutrition is when I don't have anything to eat and I'm at work and there's nothing to eat. I'm starving.
That's the emotional component.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the F it moment when you're tired or you're mad or lonely or whatever it is.
Whatever. Right.
And we go, F it, I'm not making my freaking lunch today. Okay. And it's a silly thing because it's like, oh, well, you have a cafeteria, it'll be just fine. But it's more than that. So that's why I asked you when we were talking about the 88K, I said, well, emotionally, what's the reason for this? Because you have to consider that component for your training. And that does include your nutrition. And that's obviously, that's been a struggle for you. Well,
I went quite a ways. I don't know if you look back far enough in Training Peaks, you'll see there's weeks with nothing.
I saw that. Yeah, I did see that.
Because I got around Disney, and when I lost Disney this year, I was in that mode. Yeah. That is like, to hell with this. And the way I got the system, I guess you can say, that I put in place is that I met a woman who is a coach for a master's team. And she said, well, just come to the master's group. So I go to the master's group, and so now it's like a competition, who goes the most days in a row, who doesn't miss a workout, things like that. So
right. That's slightly problematic right there. Yeah.
Right. Because
it's so even like right now I'm in recovery and I don't have a coach that I'm working with. However, Sean will look at my training or Sean will look at something I do and be like, Meghan, you're not ready to do X, Y, and Z. And it's not because the two of us are competing with each other. It's because we genuinely want the best for each other. Or if I was training for something and slacking on miles, Sean would be the first one to say, Meg, you need to get your butt in gear and do more miles. Because we have each other's well-being in mind, not because we're trying to beat each other.
Well, I guess I put it out there as a competition, but that's not really. It's more of I have to be okay. So, and this is not somebody I'm dating or anything, so don't think about it. But I pick her up. That's the deal. It's like I have to pass by her house to get to the swim piece, so I pick her up. So I have to go, because now I feel in my head I've got to go. Because I have to pick her up. She's waiting for me. So it's in my head. So with the biking on the Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do a bike. Mm-hmm. But if I know that I've set up meetups with a group of mine to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get up and be there.
Exactly.
That's the system. That works for me.
Right.
So
it's just being held accountable for
well,
for
right,
what you
and that's
say
what
you're
happened
gonna do.
and that's what happened for years with Jennifer, because I worked out with Jennifer, so I had to be there for so things like that. Now I haven't found that for running. I haven't found that thing that makes me go. And
Well, I think it's
it's not a matter, and it's not. I don't know what this means psychologically. It's not a fear of knowing how much it's going to hurt. That's not enough.
John, you've never had an issue working hard.
Right.
That's not. I'm not the type of person that worries that you're not going to get your workouts done. It's the other stuff that goes on in between.
Yeah.
And
it's all those in between times.
Yeah, and that's really important to get a handle on. I mean, we can run through our stuff. It is possible. You can run through a lot of emotional trauma and stress, but at some point, it's going to hit you across the head like a 2x4. And if you don't get it, you're going to get another hit, but with the 2x4. whether it's injury or depression or just stuff that happens. It always comes up.
Right.
So it seems to me that what you were talking about with your training, with your swimming and your biking, it's keeping you in shape. Definitely going to run more. It sounds to me like the hang up is the nutrition piece.
Yeah.
And what that means.
Yeah, and the nutrition piece, the weight, which the nutrition is part of the system for the weight, but it doesn't hurt to swim and it doesn't hurt to bike.
But
so
you want to run 88 kilometers,
right? And
the elevation gain, so we're talking 4,500, which is not awful. It's really not awful. But the course
to
is
you
tough.
Mountain folk.
But the course is tough, and it's not the climb.
It's not the climb; it's the downhill that's going to be the issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And running sustained lengths of downhill, because even on the downhill, it's the shortest downhill or the longest downhill from Muslim is still, I think it's still over 1,000 feet of descent.
And that's in a little over 4 miles, I believe.
Yeah. It's almost straight down.
Now, weird question. I was just trying to look at bridges that are in the Tampa area, right? Because you're in the Tampa area, right?
Yes.
Have you the Sunshine Skyway Bridge? Is that?
Yeah, but funny you mentioned that one, because they just had the 10K on there. They do a 10K up and down that bridge, and that was yesterday.
Right, that's got to be a ton of elevation, right? Like I've seen.
It's huge.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'd have to look into that because I don't know where you would park to go up there. It's a big bridge, Yeah, people don't even like driving over that thing.
Yeah,
but
it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful bridge, but it's up there, and there's a whole story why that bridge is there. But
yeah, looked like there was a collapse on it at one time, and
there was the bridge before it. A freighter hit the pylon, and people went into the water from the bridge, and a whole school bus went into the water.
Oh my God!
So it was bad. It was in the late '80s.
Wow, that's So I'm just thinking from the EMS standpoint, like, oh my God, like that would be massive. Oh no, there's a lot we can do, but it wouldn't be pretty. Yeah.
There's a picture of like a car teetering on the edge.
Yeah.
Like,
and you saw that and suggested John run it.
Well, hey, here's a bridge. Go run that.
They built a new one and it looks higher.
It is much higher. Yeah. They have to close that on windy days, because they close the whole bridge down because you get blown around. And that's all they need.
But yeah, if you could run that, man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
What a view too.
Yeah, I mean, that race started, this is only the second year of it. It sells out in like 2 minutes. It's very hard to get into that race. But, yeah, people run up and down that damn thing. It's huge. So, well, we're at an hour. And I think we could probably talk forever on this stuff.
Yeah,
I think I might bring you guys back on though in about a month or so to check in. What do you think?
It's you got to. There's a couple different issues. I think to summarize, it's the time on your feet.
Yep.
Is fitness is not going to carry over to the time and just the pounding on your feet. And so for somebody that's listening to this and is thinking about training for Infinitus, it's important to start to do hill workouts up and down to mimic the climbing. And just be strong enough to be able to do that. But it's also the time, being on your feet for that long of a period of time, because it's what you feel, for the first hour is going to feel, a lot worse, a couple hours later. But also the nutrition component, because we need to be able to have you train to be able to, to be strong enough to cover, to cover the distance, the terrain, the twists and the turns, and especially the down. And I think the hardest part of that race, in my opinion, where I struggle the most, is the run down Moose Lamoose. So that's the 20-mile loop.
Right.
The climate's just important to stay quick, because it's very easy to go slow on that climb. So just keeping the pace, moving. But the down, and just keeping moving on the down, is kind of painful, and it's slippery, and there's a bunch of spots where you can very easily just fall.
Yes. Yeah. Sport specific movement is like huge. That's why, even though jump rope is not running actual running, it is sport specific, right? It's the same type of ankle impact that you're going to take, same type of leg impact you're going to take, in a more concentrated form. Aqua jogging is still the same motions that you're going through, even though you're not getting any of the impact.
Yeah.
Sport specific, I think, is huge, especially if you're undertaking something where you're going to be out there for 24 hours doing that motion in particular.
Yeah, the jumping rope actually really makes sense. I don't know why I didn't remember that, but that makes a lot of sense to me.
But where you are with weight now, you have to be mindful. Yep. Because if you just start off and go nuts, it would be the same as you going, I'm just going to go do, I'm going to go do a 20-mile hard run this weekend. It's just going to be too much on your body. So you need to move in. You need to move into it. You got 12 weeks, so you got to keep that in mind. But you need to move into it. But you need to match your nutrition with that, so your body supports what you're doing.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate all the input. I really do.
Always.
Keep looking at my stuff, both of you.
Do you know
Yell at me.
Your workouts actually get emailed to me?
Do they?
They still do. Yeah, because I'm still listed as your coach. So when you do a workout, because you have a premium, anybody that has a premium membership, the workouts get their workouts get emailed to me. Everybody else, I'd have to look their workouts out. So Sean, your workouts get emailed to me too. So
all 5 of them today.
I did see that. I was like, what the heck? I'm just living vicariously through you guys, dreaming of the day where I can run again. God.
That's it. So you're going to be there. Are you going to be there, Sean? Did you say?
Unfortunately, the weekend is my daughter's birthday.
No, well, I don't see the problem here.
Yeah. If only it was that easy.
I don't think
she'll have another one next year.
So I generally don't make it. I haven't. Andy's scheduled stuff like so strangely, at least for my schedule, that it doesn't work out a lot of times. So that's why I've been able to crew for Meghan up until like the weekend of, and then I have to generally bail out. And I'll probably be up there for parts of the 10 days leading up to, but I probably will not be there on the weekend.
Okay. Oh, that's too bad. But I'm trying to get, I think Stephanie Walsh will be up there, Meghan, seeing she's one of mine.
Yep.
So, and then there's a couple people that might come but not run it, but just come to help out. So,
and if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to me or to Sean. Lord knows we've been on that course enough.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to,
I have it memorized. I mean, I have rocks memorized. I've seen it way too much.
Well, and it makes me feel better that you're going to be there, because I wasn't sure if you were even going to be there this year.
No, I'm going to be there. I just don't know in what capacity. I have my expectations of how quickly I would heal. It just didn't work.
I won't get that text again telling me, "Don't you drop out yet."
Yeah, no.
I'll be there in 15 minutes.
No.
It's a great event. I mean, where else can you say that you got to run with like David Goggins and like the third place finisher and the big Brad's backyard ultra and all that stuff.
Well, the year that David Goggins was there, and I just love him. But the year that he was there, I ran it and I saw him, but it didn't really click. I was like, there's a really fit black guy running through the woods with not a lot of clothes on. I mean, that's really all that. And then I kind of just
was he
my
with
shoulders.
John Lennon?
No, he probably was.
He was shorter than I expected him to be, honestly.
Yeah.
Most people are. I've noticed that. Like when you meet like people like that, they're always shorter than you think they are going to be.
I just remember he did not have a lot of clothes on. That's because I think he just had his just shorts on, like shorty shorts. Oh, and really? And again, I was like, huh. And being out there, it's most people have a shirt on. It wasn't that hot. So
that's how he runs. He doesn't like things on him.
Well, hey,
Hey, All right, guys. Again, I appreciate you coming on. Both of you coach under Endurance Now.
We do.
So you do. So if anybody out there needs coaching, especially in these long course events, it's endurancenow.com is right. That's still contact them. And you can, if you can't remember that, contact me and I'll get you in touch with them. Yeah. And we're both on Facebook. We're in the Endurance for Everyone group, and just simply to answer questions too. Yep. If you just have questions about what it's like, or, what the camp is like, or what Andy's like, or what's parking like. Exactly. Again, we've been there. Yeah, almost got stuck last time. Yeah. I think that happened this year. Yeah, it is always muddy. I think if anybody's planning on this, plan for extreme mud. And I can actually, I have the pictures of me running through the mud, but I think last year it got up to my knees at some points. It was sunk in. Yeah. Even the year I was there, it was definitely up to my knees. Almost lost my shoe. Yeah. So, I mean, you had this idea like, oh, just forget it. I'll just run straight through it. But you really can't, because yes, you will lose your shoe or you'll fall, which happened to me too, which that's not pretty.
The year was the worst year for mud ever. Yeah, it was bad. But falling's kind of your thing now, Megan, isn't it?
Not anymore. But the falling in mud didn't hurt. It was just I got a face full of mud. Yeah, I fall forward, and you're just, there's nowhere to land. Your arms sink, your face sinks. And then whoever's with you just laughs, because it's really funny to see somebody fall in the mud. And I laughed at whomever fell in front of me too, because
that's why you fell.
Yeah, probably.
I think karma.
I think I was laughing so hard that I tripped at one point in time. So yeah, karma.
You just got to have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
You guys want to hear a dirty joke?
Always.
Sure.
2 ultra runners fell in the mud.
Yeah, fell in the mud a couple times.
Do they ever not? That's a mark of a true ultra runner, I've noticed, is that it's got to be mud up to their knees. Oh, yeah. They're not muddy. There's a really good thing on mud
is the bugs. Like, okay, the mud is just gross. It's like a swamp bog from hell, because they're all the little gnats and mosquitoes and no-see-ums and all. Oh, that's the worst. And when you get around those areas, you can't take your time through those really muddy areas, because then you're going to get those flies like in your eyes and nose and.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really fun race. Everybody, come join us.
Yeah. It sounds like a blast. Okay. we're going to call it. So thanks again, Megan. Thanks again, Sean.
Anytime.
And
Thanks, Sean.
and we'll be in touch again.
Sounds good.
We're out.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to the Endurance for Everyone podcast. If you have comments or questions for the show, send an email to teamE4E at enduranceforeveryone.com. And remember, swim calm, bike strong, and run steady.